This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi. Good Hamoed. Want to speak out an inyan about Chol Hamoed specifically. We know that the halachas of Chol Hamoed are discussed in a Masechta called Moed Katan, which is a very unusual expression. Moed Katan, the small Yom Tif. Nowhere is Chol Hamoed in the Torah referred to as a Moed Katan. You have Ela Moyadei Hashem. Either you're a Moed or you're not a Moed. There's some things in life, either you are or you're not. You can't be a little bit. You know? What's the inyan of Moed Katan? A small Moed. Either you are a Moed or you're not a Moed. What's the inyan of Moed Katan? Also, if you look in the Masechta, Moed Katan, you'll notice something very unusual, and that is the Masechta discusses two inyanim primarily, and they are the halachos of Chol Hamoed and the halachos of Avelos, which is very strange that a Masechta about Chol Hamoed will discuss the laws of mourning. Why discuss mourning in the halachos of? Why discuss Chol Hamoed in? Why discuss Avelos in the halachos of Chol Hamoed? So that's very, very interesting. So again, number one, we want to know why is it called Moed Katan? Moed Katan, where does that expression come from? And number two, why would a Masechta speak about Avelos and Yom Tif? Why would it discuss Avelos and Yom Tif? Why these two diametrically opposed ideas? So, the Sefer Maaseh Rokeach was written by the Rebbe Elazar Amsterdam. Very interesting, amazing Sefer. The Maaseh Rokeach was written by Rebbe Elazar Rokeach, the Av Bezdin of Amsterdam, and he wrote a commentary on Chumash called Maaseh Rokeach. No, we're not talking about the Rokeach, the Rishon, Rebbe Elazar Migarmaiza. We're talking about somebody who lived, I believe, in the 18th century, and he wrote a commentary on Chumash. He also wrote a unbelievable commentary on the Mishnah, where he explains the Mishnayos al pi Kabbalah, al pi Remez, and he says like this. Says Rebbe Elazar Rokeach that if you look in the Zohar says we have tefillin shel rosh and tefillin shel yad, head tefillin and arm tefillin. Yom Tif is called tefillin shel rosh. Chol Hamoed is called tefillin shel yad. You hear this? Yom Tif is analogous to the tefillin shel rosh. Chol Hamoed is analogous to the tefillin shel yad. In fact, says the Zohar, Chol Hamoed is lesle l'sihara migarma klum. Chol Hamoed has no independent light. Its light comes from Yom Tif itself. Says the Zohar, Chol Hamoed is analogous to the moon. Yom Tif is analogous to the sun. Okay? Which means we know that the moon has no inherent light, no independent light. All the light of the moon is merely a reflection of the sun. So too Chol Hamoed is merely a reflection of Yom Tif proper. The
first Yom Tov or the second Yom Tov?
Both.
Both directions.
Right, both. It's sandwiched in between. So says the Maaseh Rokeach, an amazing thing. If you're going to compare Chol Hamoed to the moon, now we have a little glimpse into why Chol Hamoed is called Moed Katan. Just like the moon is called Mar HaKatan, right? The pasuk says God created the two great luminaries. Originally, He created the sun and the moon both large, but then He made the moon small, right? Vayomer Elokim Yehi Ma'oros B'rkei Hashamayim, right? Vayomer Elokim Shnei HaMa'oros HaGedolim, and then the pasuk says Es Hamor HaGadol L'Memshalas Bayoim, Yes Hamor HaKatan L'Memshalas Haloila. The moon is called Ma'or HaKatan. So if Chol Hamoed is like the moon, therefore, just like the moon is called Ma'or Katan, Chol Hamoed is called Moed Katan. It's like the moon. It's like the moon. So listen to what he says. So he says an amazing thing. We all know that all tragedy in this world stems from the tzara that God had to make the moon small. Had the moon remained large, there would be no avelos in the world. There would be no tsar in the world. In fact, it's written, had the moon been large, Adam HaRishon never would have eaten from the Eitz Hadas. All tragedy in the world is rooted in the fact that Hashem had to make the moon small. So it comes out very interesting. Now, let me just digress for a moment. Something from the Sefer Smichas Chachamim. Sefer Smichas Chachamim is an incredible Sefer written by Rav Naftali Katz, who was one of the great Achronim, great Makubal, and he wrote a commentary explaining the hemshech of all the Masechtas in Shas, the connection between one Masechta and the next. And he reveals to us a shocking secret. We know, and in Moed Katan it speaks about that during Avelos, the women used to smack themselves, what? Kaf al kaf. You ever hear that expression? Kaf al kaf. In fact, the pasuk says in Zechariah that la'asid lavai, in the future, God is destined to, the pasuk says in Yechezkel, Chaf Aleph Yotes, V'yata ben Adam hinove v'hach kaf al kaf. There's another pasuk that also says that la'asid lavai, Hashem is going to hit kaf al kaf. What is this expression of kaf al kaf? Why is Ribbon Shem going to hit kaf al kaf? Why, as a sign of Avelos, do the women hit kaf al kaf? Yeah? Says Naftali Katz, a big sud, a big secret. We know Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. But that's his name right now. But L'Asad Lavai, that will not be his name. L'Asad Lavai, his name will be Yud, and then a Hey, and not a Vav. Then another Yud, and then another Hey. Not Yud Kei Vav Kei, but Yud Kei. Like the pasuk says, Bayoim Hahu Yihiyah Hashem Echad. On that day, God's name will not be Yud Kei Vav Kei, it will be Yud Kei. Now,
it's also like
not now. It's not Hashem's name now. It's not Hashem's name. But lost the love, that will be the name. Now, right now, God's name is Gematria 26. Now, listen to this. The pasuk says that Moshe Rabbeinu, what did he take? Vayoreyu Hashem eitz. He took a tree. What is the gematria of eitz? Ayin tzadi. 70 and 90. 160. Listen to this. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Take the Yud, hit it on the Hey. In Hebrew, when you hit something, you multiply. Yud times Hey is 50. Hey times Yud, 50. That's 100. Take the Vav and then the Hey and hit them against each other. Vav times Hey is 30. Hey times Vav is 30. 60. 160 is 160. Vayoreo Hashem eitz. God showed him a tree. Tree is the name of Hashem. Tree is Yud Kei Vav Kei. How is tree Yud Kei Vav Kei? Because Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yud times Hey, Hey times Yud is 100. Vav times Hey, Hey times Vav is 60. That's the eitz. That's why the Torah is called Eitz Chayim Hi L'Machazikim. Why is it a tree of life? Because God's name, the Torah are the names of God. You look in the Ramban's introduction to the Chumash, all of the Torah are the names of God. So right now, God is an Eitz Chayim, his name is Yud Kei Vav Kei. But L'Asid Lavai, when the moon will become big again, God's name will become big again, and his name will not be Yud Kei Vav Kei, it will be Yud Kei. What's Yud times Hey, Hey times Yud? 50 plus 50 is 100. Then you do that with the second two letters. Yud Kei, Hey Yud is another 100. In other words, nowadays, God's name is eitz, 160. La'asad Lavai, his name will be what? 200. You got how it will be 200? Yud times Hey, Hey times Yud is 100. Then again, Yud times Hey, and then Hey times Yud is another 200. What we're doing when we're be'avelos, kaf al kaf. Kaf is 100, al kaf is another 100. What we're davening is, bila hamaves lanetzach. We're praying that the achos hayamim should come, that God's name should no longer be Yud Kei Vav Kei, it should be Yud Kei. And by hitting kaf al kaf, it's a way of engendering our yearning for L'Asad Lavai. When God's name will be complete, Yud Kei Vav Kei, that's the inyan of being Haka Kaf al Kaf. Okay, back to the Sefer Maaseh Rokeach. Now we understand why the laws of Avelos are in Moed Katan. Because we know, all tragedy in the world comes from the diminution of the moon. That brought two tragedies. Number one, that brought death to the world. It brought Avelos to the world. It also brought Chol Hamoed. Because nowadays Chol Hamoed is only a Moed Katan. But La'asid Lavai, there'll be no Avelos. And there'll be no Chol Hamoed because it will be one long Moed Gadol. Just like it will be a Moed, just like the moon will be Ma'ar Gadol, it won't be a Ma'ar Katan anymore. So too Chol Hamoed will not be Moed Katan. It will be Moed Gadol.
So Shavuot, I know that we don't.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.